Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Risna and my student number is 2005-086-076. I'm from the class of 2020 and today I'd like to explain about word processing for the course Psycholinguistics. Wait a minute. Right, the first material is about lexical semantics. So when we talk about word meanings, we can differentiate it between sense and also reference. This is according to Jack and Dove, 1983. Sense refers approximately to dictionary like or encyclopedic knowledge that we have about words. So for example, the word cake maps onto information about generic form and function. Reference is another form of meaning that words are involved in. When we use words to refer to people, objects, or maybe ideas, the words themselves have sense, but their specific meaning in a given context depends on what the words point to, what they refer to. The lexical representation of a given word would incorporate information about its grammatical function, what category does it belong to, verb, noun, adjective, and so on, which determines how it can combine with other words like adverbs go with verbs and also adjectives with nouns, something like that. For example, when we hear the word bird, we can access the information that it has wings and also can fly and so on. And now we move to lexical access. Lexical access refers to the set of mental representation and processes that are involved in identifying which specific words we are hearing during spoken word processing, or maybe seeing during visual word processing. Recognizing words leads to the activation of semantic information, but models of lexical access typically deal specifically with the activation of word for information and also with the activation of semantic information being treated as a consequence of the activation of form. Words are made of parts. Some of those parts, like phonetic features, are more basic than others, also like syllables. And we could have a model of lexical access that says take a segment of speech and also then start by identifying the most basic units like phonetic features and then combine these features to find more complex units like phonons and also combine these features to find even more complex units, it is syllables, and then so on. Now we move to lexical ambiguity resolution. According to some estimates, over 40% of the words that you hear in English have more than one meaning, and this doesn't include the temporary ambiguities that happen when you hear words with unsaid embedded words in them, like ham in hamster. That's the example from according to Gansbacher 1990. According to the exclusive access hypothesis, you can use just from the context to immediately select the correct meaning of an ambiguous word like then. If visual and acoustic stimuli activate multiple word forms that they are associated with, maybe word forms simultaneously activate multiple meanings that they are associated with. This later hypothesis is called the exclusive access account, and inappropriate meanings are activated when people hear an ambiguous word like books. If appropriate and inappropriate meanings are both activated when we hear an ambiguous word, how do we ever figure out the correct meaning? And follow on experiments investigating meaning selection for ambiguous words, experimenters or manipulate the amount of time the elapsed between the ambiguous word and also presentation of the charged word. And the amount of time that passes between the presentation of the MGS word and presentation of the charged is called stimulus offset asynchrony or SOA. And then how word meanings are represented in the brain. Category-specific semantic deficits happen when an individual has difficulty understanding the meanings of some types of words but not others. In particular, there seems to be a distinction between the processing of words that refer to natural kinds like animals, plants, and foods, and also artificial or man-made objects like tools, buildings, and also objects. The existence of category-specific deficit has been used to argue for localist semantic representation or a separate semantic system for living and non-living things. This is according to Karamazov and Hillis 1991. According to the localization theory, semantic memory has been divided into separate categories by natural selection because those categories represent biologically important domains. The conceptual division is reflected in a physical division of different kinds of concept in a different physical location in the brain. The localizationist approach contrasts with the distribute representation approach. According to the distribute representation approach, concepts are represented as coordinate patterns of activity across a wide variety of the brain regions. Like maybe that's all from me. Thank you so much, and I'm sorry if maybe I'm still lack of vocabulary in my speaking skills. Thank you so much for the attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.